This is Southern Cross News with Rachel Williams.
Good evening and happy Mother's Day. A trailblazer in Tasmanian politics is bowing out of the game. Lara Giddings will not contest her seat of Franklin at the next state election, saying she wants to let younger faces rise through the ranks of the party. While friends and foes reflect on Giddings' time, there are suggestions unions are pushing her out.
Lara Giddings led Tasmania through generational change. Now she hands over the torch.
I feel the time is right to pack up my bags and to say I'm handing over all that I have, my knowledge, my expertise, my friendship as well, to the new generation.
Giddings decided to resign following the last election. She held off on any announcement out of respect to voters.
I really felt in a sense that it was my fate, that these doors kept opening to me, and every time a door opened, I went through it.
That first door opened in 1996, when Giddings became the youngest woman elected to an Australian parliament. She was just 23. She took on portfolios including economic development, health and human services, before cementing her legacy in 2011.
Tonight, Lara Giddings makes Tasmanian political history.
To be the Premier of the state I love.
On that day, Rebecca White announced Giddings' climb to the top.
Lara Giddings was elected unopposed as leader of the Labor Party,
Before assuming the leadership for herself 6 years later.
She's assisted so many people make hard decisions and big decisions.
Which Giddings has made plenty of, proposing more than $1 billion in cuts for her first budget and signing the Tasmanian Forestry Agreement alongside the Greens. That relationship turned sour after saying she would be happy to share power with the Greens again. Giddings ended up sacking Nick McKim and Cassie O'Connor from their portfolios before her fateful 2014 campaign.
It also brings an enormous responsibility, one that we hand to the Liberal Party tonight.
The government is congratulating Giddings for her contribution, but it suggests more is at play.
Clearly, the unions have decided she's got to go. She's their best performer. She takes so much experience out the door.
Giddings still hopes one of her most championed causes, voluntary assisted dying legislation, will become law one day.
The fact is very few people will ever take up the opportunity, but right now they're doing it anyway.
For now, the 44-year-old is planning a rare holiday where she will surely consider where to make her mark next. Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
There's good news for young house hunters. The state government is extending the $20,000 First Home Builders Grant for another year. The scheme applies to those constructing their own home, buying off the plan or buying a new house. The industry denies the grant is adding unnecessary fuel to the booming housing market.
They're not using that money to up-spec, but it's purely a chance for them to get into the market.
And it helps cover those costs that unfortunately some of these younger folk can't cater for.
Changes to stamp duty being put forward by the government in July could create more savings for buyers. $7 million is being set aside in next week's state budget to upgrade a dangerous intersection in Launceston. Either a roundabout or traffic lights will be installed where the Mowbray connector meets the East Tamar Highway. Construction is expected to begin later this year.
We've got concerns here for the crash count and a growing traffic count out this part of town.
And if you travel out here, and particularly travelling north, it is deaths waiting to happen.
The intersection has become notorious for accidents. At least 10 people have been injured in crashes at the site over the past 5 years. Tasmanians have been treated to some special attention for this year's Mother's Day. While some ventured to parks and restaurants, others chose a sweaty start to their day of leisure.
Forget breakfast in bed, boot camp's the word for these families on Mother's Day. Keeping the chill away with exercise or a nice warm costume. The Mother's Day classic moving the motivated out of bed and into their gym gear.
Well, I've gone through the breast cancer story and I've come out the other side and I've got my family and my sister and my friends all here celebrating life. That's all it's about.
The event aims to raise $4 million for breast cancer, a disease which touches most people here.
I'm still going through the journey. I have advanced breast cancer now, so Yeah, it's a battle, but I stay positive and I've got all these people around me to help me and support me.
My wife's mother died from cancer, so yeah, look, it's every reason to be here.
The Tide of Pink circling the course for a great cause.
It's also a really fun family day, so we've got jumping castles, life be in it, lots of fun family activities.
Those wanting to kick back in the sun settled at Clarendon House. Today's special event entertained crowds in the shadow of this historic home. The day extended to all women. Robin Quill has never had children, so she was taken out for this Mother's Day by her godchildren.
These are better than real kids. Real, yeah. I haven't had to do nappies, you see.
Tom Johnson, Southern Cross News.
A Tasmanian schoolboy has set off on his journey, attempting to set a record as the youngest person to fly solo around Australia. Ollie O'Halloran decided to take on the mission a year ago, inspired by pilot Ryan Campbell, who set a world record for flying solo across the world at 19 years of age.
This pilot may only be 17 years old, but he's set to embark on one massive expedition. Oliver has been flying for 3 years and only gained his full pilot's licence 2 weeks ago, but he's confident he has what it takes.
I think I was thinking once I make my way over the Bass Strait and realised how far I've gone, and then, yeah. No, I mean, a little bit nervous, but more focused on the flying, so.
The trip is expected to take 20 days and he'll fly 6 hours a day on average. He's planning to visit students along the way to teach them the sky is the limit.
I got into that and was quite into flying. I didn't know you could become a pilot at 14 years old. I thought you'd have to go to uni, get your driver's licence and then do a course or something like that. But yeah, no, I started reasonably early once I found out.
To think that it takes, him, he's starting 2.5 years younger than me and he's able to fly a plane on his own. It's just, the thought is crazy, but yeah, no, I have a lot of trust in him, and I've been up once with him, and he's definitely proven to me that he's capable of doing this.
Family, friends and supporters all showing up to wish him farewell.
Good luck, buddy. Big hug,
You do realise your mother missed out on breakfast this morning, don't you?
Yeah, I know.
All right, so you'll have to make it up to her.
Yeah.
And one final goodbye from the biggest fans, his family. The first stop is Launceston before stopping over in Latrobe Valley. Talia Higgins, Southern Cross News.
Well, Tasmania is on the winners list at the AFLW Under-18 Championships. Despite conceding the first goal, Tasmania fought back to take a 13-point win over the Northern Territory. The final score, Tasmania 6 goals, 5-41 to the Northern Territory, 4-28. Hobart Zebras have capped off a tumultuous week off-field with an emphatic win on the road against Launceston City. The visitors were never seriously troubled in their round 9 encounter, the win keeping them in touch of Devonport at the top of the NPL ladder.
After last week's drama at Darcy Street, Zebras were keen to dispel any doubt they can remain in touch of the title. And by the 23-minute mark, they were on the board, courtesy of Sanders. Soon after, Chris Downs appeared to shank this free. It mattered little as it dribbled past everyone to the back of the net.
So that one swung in, it's in the back of the net through a sea of legs. And Chrissy Downs has got the goal. It's 2-0, and again, it's just sloppy at the back from City.
2-0 at the break, and City appeared to steady in the second half before Sanders weaved another one past the keeper. 3-0 became 4-0 soon after as the floodgates opened. Sanders capping off a stellar night around goal to complete a 5-0 thumping.
Laid on a platter by the drain pipe, and the Colonel says thank you very much. 5-0.
In the weekend's other game, Devonport outclassed cellar dwellers the Northern Rangers with a clinical 7-1 win. A successful weekend on the court for Tasmania's basketball teams in the Siebel, with the Hobart Chargers men's team notching up a solid 14-point win on the road against Canberra. It was a similar result against the Centre of Excellence with the final margin of 11 points. Northwest Thunder have embarrassed Melbourne on their home court with a massive 42-point win, while in the women's it was a similar scenario for the Tawns as they powered home by 37. And the Hobart Chargers women's teams were also victorious, home by 27 against Canberra. To netball, and the Northern Hawks have made the most of multiple turnovers to record a 17-point win against Cripps at the Silverdome last night. Danny Devlin's work in defence earning her Player of the Match honours. At the Hobart Netball Centre, the Cavaliers' defence proved no match for a dominant Karana. Skill errors hurting the visitors, the Flames home by 20. And in the weekend's final match, Devon took out a win on the road against OHA, heading home with a 5-goal win. Andrew McCarthy, Southern Cross News.
Good evening. A cloudy day around the state today with some light rain in the south. Hobart reached 14 degrees. It was 17 in Launceston, 16 in Burnie and 15 in Devonport. Flinders Island shared the state's high of 17 degrees with Launceston. It reached 16 at Lowhead, Wynyard and King Island, 14 at St Helens, Friendly Beaches and Strawn, and 8 degrees at Lyowini after an overnight low of -4. Here we can see low-level cloud over the eastern states of the mainland with moist easterly winds caused by a high-pressure ridge. There's a trough over the New South Wales coast supported by an upper-level disturbance and an inland trough over central Queensland, both producing showers and thunderstorms. And the spiral cloud to the southwest of Western Australia is associated with a low-pressure system. On the close-up, broken cloud around the coast with cloud increasing inland over the course of the day. A trough is causing that line of cloud through Bass Strait. Looking ahead at tomorrow's chart, the western low has intensified, passing along the southwestern coast of the mainland. Another low has developed in the trough off the coast of New South Wales, and there's a single high centre situated over Tasmania. South to southwesterly winds 5 to 15 knots, reaching 20 knots about the northeast and more easterly about Bass Strait. Seas around 1 metre, with swells increasing to 2.5 metres in the west and south. Partly cloudy in Hobart tomorrow, looking at a top of 14. Dover and Ouse both cloudy and 13. Launceston partly cloudy, 16 degrees. The same for Devonport, Scottsdale 15. Partly cloudy for Burnie, 16. Strawn and Stanley both partly cloudy and 15. St Helens partly cloudy, 15. A possible late shower for Swansea, 14. Ross, 14, partly cloudy. Now let's take a look ahead to Tuesday. Fine apart from some light showers about the east coast and some inland morning frost. Wednesday, another frosty morning with some possible showers over the Bass Strait Islands, fine elsewhere. Thursday, morning frost but mostly fine around the state, apart from some possible morning showers in the very far south. Taking a look around the country tomorrow, showers for Perth 21 and Sydney 20 degrees, sunny for Darwin 33 and Brisbane 26, Adelaide mostly sunny 21 and morning fog for Melbourne looking at a top of 17.
Well, that's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Have a happy and safe week. I'm Rachel Williams. Good night.